Greetings. Thank you for joining us. All right, this is the Roswell crash, JFK, Empire State Building, and Area 51. I haven't been to Area 51 in a while, so or Area 51 and S4, however you want to look at it. So Roswell crash. I don't know if I've tapped into that. Maybe never. I don't know. I can't really remember actually. JFK one's going to kind of, we'll see where that one goes. Empire State Building, yeah, we'll go into details of where I'm getting with that. It can connect to the energies of the Empire State Building because it's not exactly the most positive, but we'll see. Not really. It is definitely has portal energies connected to it. As I'm talking comment private sessions, schedule. Yeah, the shop here on the 7th. Same situation there. I have the webinar tomorrow. We have social network and behind the scenes. Okay, and then which one we're gonna do first? Roswell. Well, I don't have this organized right. Okay, we're gonna go a little bit backward. Oh no, let's go to the other one first. Well, I thought I had it all set together, but I guess not. Go here first. Actually, well, I'll just channel that. I'm not going to go into. Oh, look at that. Nice. The JFK thing. I believe there was a connection between him and Marilyn Monroe. Of course, JFK was known to be kind of a womanizer to a certain degree. I believe there is a connection between the two of them, like a romance, but who knows? I can't be 100% on that. Probably. Now, the wife thing is just for politics. I mean, if you probably heard that before somewhere, but I don't think there's any love there at all. It's just for show. But that goes into him like cheating on the side, which makes sense because he's rebellious and then he goes after all the, he's rebellious in his presidency too, which ends up getting him killed. So, it's like unhinged. He can't be stopped. He's on fire, you can say. So, it's like the worst thing ever happened to the shadow government. Well, yeah, because he wouldn't stop digging. I feel like he wouldn't stop digging into what they're up to. The CIA and all of that. He wasn't, he was kind of carefree. So, of course, she found out about some of it. I believe there's a connection there between the two of them. It's not the clearest, but there's definitely something was going on, at least at one time. Of course, yeah, Roswell connected to that. Yeah, we'll just connect to those guys. So it looks pretty legit there. Maybe S4 if it comes through. Possibly, which is pretty headed. The other thing, we have this the Ghostbusters story. Yeah, I think I turn the background up again. Yeah. Can't seem to get a break on that one. So the Ghostbusters is coming out about the build, to building basically possessed. This is the building. Where? Of course, in the movie they added the top connection to it, where it's a lot more scary. That's the Ghostbusters building. It doesn't look like anything here, but in the movie, the Ghostbusters movie, it looks a lot different. Let's see. Building. Here. Yeah, because in the movie it looks different, but the original is boring. So, yeah, quite a difference there. It's kind of weird. It's weird looking at the original. It's like, God, is that just not exciting? So it's interesting what they added to it. I believe the energies was, they're talking about the spooky building, the ghost building. I mean, that might have ghosts there, yeah, but I believe it's more the Empire State Building that has more of that going on. There's a lot of ritual energies there. There's all kinds of stuff. Somewhere, yeah, you can't say. I mean, even if they have an elitist party there, it's still a ritual that well, us, some of us will never find out about. But there's definitely some elitist energy there for sure, and it still survived all of everything that's happened to New York. It's still there, so for now. So it's not exactly giving off the most positive vibrations. I mean, it is kind of spooky when you think about it. So, oh yeah, and the interior has like a Art Deco energy, but it still has a vibe that's not exactly the healthiest when you think about it. So, anyway, enough about that. Figure I'd tap into that a little bit. Oops. Okay. Yeah, they're keeping themselves busy over there. Okay, we'll go to Roswell. And JFK, we'll see how far that goes. Yeah, those will be short ones. JFK and Empire State Building. We'll see how that goes. All right, blessings. Here we go. Greens. We are the Zetas. Of course, our energy is not the most trustworthy, always by our human collective. Not trusted because there are many that don't want to know the truth, and rather just say we can't be trusted and leave everything in mystery. The more the mystery, the better. Or your shadow government rules your societies. Yes, runs your schools, runs everything. So during the Roswell crash, you can say that was the beginning of the great plan for a manipulation of reality more than ever before. They had schools before, but then they weaponized them, as you can see. And you see it now with the social justice energy going on, where, yes, everyone's getting offended by everything. Not everybody, but quite a few. That's social engineering, as you know. Even cigarette smoking is social engineering, as some of you know, also. So it's basically an era of when you can say rise of the machines with Roswell. It's basically technology was planned to take over your lives, and certainly they are doing it. So you believe whatever you want with Roswell, and you see your world is much different now than it was before. So there are little footprints or fingerprints of your reality shifting. So where did they get all of this from? Much of it was from us, Zeta Collective, but of course there's reptilian beings involved too. But it was basically with the crash was there's already alien influence already in your government. But with the crash, it just like here's here's a cookie for the government. It's like, do you want this? Of course, they said yes. And then the hijacking of reality began more than ever before. It's happened before. But this is also part of World War II to increase, speed up technology on your planet. So Roswell, yes, will always have an energy of mystery. It won't. Not all questions will be answered. Why would it be? Well, when you start answering those questions, either you're on the other side in spirit, or you are in the inside of how this all happened. But basically, it was where average people in government can rule your world. And they're doing it now, where they make themselves wealthy and hidden at the same time. So, say what you want about Roswell. You see, our world is a very different place. Of course, World War II is involved, but Roswell played a role in it. Roswell played a role on a spiritual end. Was why there's a war going on over there. Manipulation is happening over here. So it's just a psyop on all corners of your world. Of course, Zetas weren't involved with the crowd, or there were dark ones involved, yes. But for the most part, there was, and of course, others will have their own version of how things happened. But basically, an energy pulse, just enough to take the ship down. Some would say it was shot down, but an energy pulse. It's like having just sound, like a sound pulse, just but where the ship can hear it, just enough. Like it's almost like a hair dryer sound, not exactly, but it's just enough just to shift the frequency where our ship loses control. For someone to be able to do that, they must have inside information. Obviously, it did. Using satellites. Of course, they didn't really have satellites back then, but it was early satellite technology. So, I mean, there is alien technology around, but with the Roswell, it just once again speeded things up. It was showing that they meant business. Of we'll give you more, and it's the ship that they gain access to, and the beings they gain access to had more of a knowledge that was definitely there at the time. So yes, it speeded up a great deal, and yes, of course, that technology is connected to the Tic Tac, as you've seen. Now, some of those Tic Tacs are real UFOs. Usually, they don't mess with air flights. Yeah, they don't mess with. They don't would normally fly by an aircraft as the Tic Tacs do in those videos. So that is most likely one of your shadow government entities. And there's of course a great deal more of that. I'm not going to make clear. Area 51, yes, has a lot of Lockheed Martin scientists. Obviously, their minds aren't exactly thinking clearly. And who does? Does anyone there think clearly for the most part? I mean, yes, business as usual. Not too, but of course, there's a major manipulation going on. Basically, that's your black press, that's your psyop altogether. Area 51 is a complete psyop. And of course, those that are working there work with it. I want to see one side of the picture. But yes, there's many levels. So obviously, proving it's going to be difficult. Is it really meant to be proven? Now, many of you are shifting your frequencies. You can connect to these places by remote viewing it and see much more than what others thought was there. It can get a little bit intense. It's not going to show you physically, but remote viewing wise, yes. You can't block everything. Now, can you prove everything is another story. Of course, remote viewing Dulce is something you have to be mentally prepared for. There are quiet places in Dulce, New Mexico, but there's other places that can not steal your soul, but make you feel not well inside. But the Area 51 energy, as it going to become more well, over time, more weeks will happen, but not yet. There will be a time when you can actually go into Area 51 and visit it. But obviously, we were supposedly at war, as you can see. So obviously, it's a military installation, so not going to open that one up anytime soon. Until basically your army is no longer needed. You have some time for that, of course. By then, they will be in space. They don't need that place anymore. When they no longer need it, you're more than welcome to visit it. You can see all the hangars, whatever is there, they don't care. So that's going to be some time because they're still going to use it for a while. Greetings, I'm JFK. Greetings to your collective. Realize we do change in spirit. We're not always going to be as what we are seeing on your televisions or radios. We're going to be a lot different. The corruption of today is what we were warning about in the past. Of course, that's my presidency. The corruption continued. Nixon was not great, but there was some things he was going to expose. We kept actually he was not going to expose it, but they threw him out anyway. I believe he held back on it, but it didn't matter now, did it? Well, your Trump presidency was, I believe, planning on exposing maybe not UFO information, possibly some. Well, it's all up in the air. I believe it was a yes and no type of thing. They were going to leak it in some form, but maybe not take responsibility for it. Like someone hacked it or something like that. Something around those lines. But yes, it would have been more disclosure during your Trump administration. They turned around, obviously, to where you are at today. Where you're at today is your shadow government at its best. They actually pride themselves of how things are going. No matter where none of it makes sense why there's no power anymore. There's power, but it looks weak and it'll continue to look weak. Well, it's the darkness obviously showing itself. And it looks kind of skeleton-like, almost dead in some regard, because it shows who's in charge. And many of them are very elderly, but their minds work a lot better than who's in charge, at least in your presidency situation. So tapping into your next generation president, most likely your next president will be a little bit younger, of course, but maybe not the best mental state either, from what I'm seeing. But for my time as president, of course, is here to unravel everything. Literally put everything on the table that the people need to know about. Everything. Even expose all these agencies, not just shut them down, but expose them. And shutting them down is one thing, exposing them is for another. Obviously, arresting them all is kind of difficult, especially when you find out they have more power. Obviously, when you're a president and you find out someone's more powerful than you in government, you want to get rid of those people. And that's what I was trying to do. And so that's what takes a president out of his presidency, is removing people that are above him. Not just CIA, of course, CIA is above presidency. But not just shutting down contractors and all that. That they can make that work. They'll find a way to make that a run around. But when you try to get rid of those that are kind of like your bosses, that you weren't aware you had a boss, that's where it becomes, and even in your Trump presidency, I believe he was trying to do the same thing. But failed, but won, because you are seeing the corruption now. So well, they had no choice to put in who they have as president now. They had no choice. They did have choices, but they weren't working out. And this is the best one. Wasted the energy of control. So obviously, the last president, the Trump presidency, they couldn't control him very well. They tried to scare him mostly. Obviously, it wasn't working very well. So, what's this? Green seal. It's on the consciousness of your Empire State Building. A vortex, a beacon of New York City. Give life, hope to others. Yes, an elitist agenda right in front of you. And it's a spotlight of things to come, meaning that the building is, as you connect to the frequencies, it does connect to, yes, archon realities. A sense of, well, it shows the power of wealth, and it is itself like a pyramid. It just a different type of pyramid, but still has the floors, the layers, and of course it has the pyramid at the top. Technically, it's to show that, and it makes it the buildings that are so tall shows the world has gotten more complicated now. Because before you didn't have buildings this tall, at least of your knowledge, for a reason. Yeah, now you have all these buildings that are huge, and it shows even the Empire State Building has a timeline connected to it, meaning of your reality, of how it's being held hostage. So as you're opening up your abilities, you'll see more of like the building might transform itself. It might not look the same, like a creature. It might look like many things. Same with your banks. Your banks in New York City, the large ones. Eventually, those will shift. Those can change. Like almost look like a live entity. Even the Empire State Building can look like a live entity. Like, what is it saying to you? Now, does a building like the Empire State Building, does it really want to rule over New York City? No. It would rather be shorter with less agendas wrapped around it. It does have many timelines. Basically, this is your definition of wealth. Or what is wealth? Basically, is like having yourself suffocating with agendas, basically. Or a monetary system, however you want to word it. Is also Empire State Building, part of it is there to take energies away from others. And it's doing an excellent job of that too. It does, well, it puts in ideas, it programs people also. This is once again, this is what success looks like. And you have to be at a certain level to get to this elitist vibration, especially those tenants that are there. Through companies or personal, whatever it might be. So when your energies start to shift, when you go in more of a higher frequency, you realize some of these buildings will not last forever. Right now, it's pretty concrete. But without going into details, why some buildings go down, others go up. And basically, when the infrastructure starts to derail, that shows your reality is finally shifting. But maybe you're still going to use the vibrations to keep these buildings going, because to a certain degree, like let it empty out. But it's no longer needed. But it'll still be there structure wise. But the agenda is no longer as strong as it used to be. That's what you're here to do. Of course, in this lifetime or the next lifetime, what lifetime is another story. What's this? Greetings, we are the consciousness of Area 51. Believe it or not, we are here. We have a hive mind consciousness. We are connected to AI, but not the type of AI that takes over worlds. The AI that does assist with building them. You don't have to say we are archon beings. We're just basically a consciousness of creation. Of course, basically, Area 51 was never true. It was always alien. From the very beginning. Even if the people here that weren't aware of it, the ones that built it had no idea what they were getting themselves into. Not really. It's gone beyond expectations. uh, the agenda of Area 51 is to let others know that extraterrestrial life is here and going to stay and going to get more popular eventually. It does have little hints in your media, of course. Your movies, all that, as a joke, because the joke's on, well, the joke is easier to handle it, especially when you go down, underground. It's going to be hard to have humor there. Well, you can have humor, but because it gets very serious. Obviously, it's not made public for various reasons, but some of you that want to tap in those frequencies is entirely up to you. But to bring it more into the public, it's almost like, yes, that doesn't want to yet is building up towards it. Well, there's just not enough people. There is a lot of people wanting to know, but there's still not enough to open the gates because they have such a high security around it. The idea is to manifest where the facility is no longer needed on a physical level. Yes, the aliens go to space, or the military. The military has to abandon it. Now, I don't believe they're going to open up the doors for you anytime soon, but it becomes more abandoned. It's easier to access, obviously. And there's many trap doors, all kinds of things there. And they usually leave ships there. If they abandon it altogether, they're going to leave the ships there, some of them, because they can't transport them. But they're in space, and most of them are antiques anyway. So remote viewing Area 51 is entirely up to you. Just realize your vibration might not be at the highest, because there's just a lot of observing there. There does have remote viewers, maybe not always on site, but the vibration is still there. You want to know who's tapping into it. And they're trying to block others from tapping into it fully. Obviously, I'm not going to give you secrets because Area 51 shifts the timelines. It works with the alien timelines a lot because it's like, here's some knowledge for a couple moments, and now it's gone. So someone comes and whistle blows about Area 51. It's like, enjoy it while it lasts, because now it's gone. And that's all. It's like opening up the window, letting the air in, and then closing it. And notice how there hasn't been anything. Even sightings aren't what they used to be. You don't have any alien crashes or anything like that. Not recently or public, for obvious reasons. It's done by design. But many of you are shifting your energy fields where the secrecy is no longer needed. So, but yes, much of this has to go. Area 51, basically, the personnel have to go into space, literally. And then they have to not want it anymore. Unless you have a high security badge or something like that. So it's well secretive for a reason. It's not really intended to. I mean, you can stay there for almost decades inside that place, learning what's there. Some of you're doing on the outside, but once you get into the inside, it's a whole different story. There is CIA energies there, of course, agencies that should not be there. And sometimes they do work against humanity a lot. I mean, you think they're all for humanity, but are they really? Some of them are far from it. But they have the picture perfect look, though. They can sell you, those that are hiding this whole alien agenda are like used car salesmen. They'll sell you whatever it is, but as long as they're not selling aliens. they're damping it down for a reason. Now they're allowing whistleblowers talk about it because they don't really care. They have to also allow this information to flow. They can't keep everything in. They know that some things are just gonna have to be the way it is. That's all we have is the time buses.